Welcome to the Rad Dad Redemption Podcast. Here's your hosts, Drew and Dex.
All right, we back.
Recycled content.
If there ever was a phoned-in episode, this is it.
No, everyone just turned it off. Listen, you need to be here for this fucking episode. It's amazing. It's great. You will not want to miss one fucking second of what we're about to give you.
And chances are you haven't missed it already.
If you're a dedicated listener. Or conversely, on the other hand, if you're someone who's never listened, this will whet your appetite.
Yeah, actually, this is going to be like, this is the big Shiny Tunes 1 of Rad Dad.
Yeah. Oh my God. Nice reference.
Rad Shiny Tunes 1.
Rad Shiny. Man, look out for our album coming out never.
Did you ever watch YTV when the two like after school hosts back in like 99?
Like on the Zone?
Yeah. Made like their own album and they were called like Atomic Donkey.
What?
And they had a song called Donkey Sneakers.
Was that like Pat Kelly era? Do you remember Pat Kelly?
I think so. I used to watch it after school every day, but names escape me.
Oh yeah, okay. I watched the fuck out of the Zone, and like I have favorite hosts, and he's one of them. I bet you it was. If we're talking in the same vintage, we'll have to look this up after.
Yeah, it was. Their group was called Atomic Donkey, and they had a song called Donkey Sneakers, and it was so bad, but it was just like they're like on YTV, and they had a captive audience.
Okay, so was the CD mixed in with like other like hit tunes that they had licensed?
No, I think it was just their songs,
and they probably sold a fucking buttload.
Like at least. Probably more than most other Canadian artists can ever claim to have sold.
Yeah, heck yeah.
So yeah, that's gonna be us. We're Atomic Donkey V2.
Yeah, this is essentially that. So what we've agreed to do, and we did talk a lot about this leading up to it, is we just thought it would be a fun and admittedly we had no idea the work that was going to be involved, which is kind of a theme.
It's funny because we say we're phoning it in, but it's like actually been totally the opposite, or it is like it's the whole process is like absolutely not phoning it in.
Oh yeah,
it's the most work we've put into an episode.
Totally, and so I hope it lands, and it will have some interesting takes on us. What this is our clip show episode. Which is a trope, this is a thing that I'm sure everyone's experienced. You're waiting to see your favorite fucking cartoon on the Zone, and instead of a new episode, it's just like a rehashed fucking clip show. And so that's what we're doing, with a lot more care and effort. And what we've agreed to do is Dex is going to take all of the odd episodes.
Yeah.
I've taken all of the even episodes, and we spent a lot of time listening to our back catalog, and we're trying to find what we think are either the best bits, the funniest bits, or just moments from our first year as podcasters that really stand out.
Yeah. And it's been work because it's like, well, as you said, you were talking about doing episode 4, not to spoil like what we've picked or anything, but you kind of found a bit, but you weren't sure about it, and you ended up listening to the episode 2 times through.
Yeah, well, it's because you get in your own head, and it's not only like, hey, this is what I think is the best bit, but what are people going to want to listen to, and also what's my co-host, what's my partner in crime going to think. And I guess what I've accepted is that like that's a bit of the fun in the journey, is that since we've decided to split the workload in picking these clips, I think it'll be interesting to both of us what we've each decided as, hey, this is the one moment from each episode that really either meant something, or we just had a really fun time recording it, or it was funny, or it was something that we actually got good feedback on. It was like, hey, do more jokes like that, do more bits like that. That was good. And
I think for me, one of my favorite parts about going back through old episodes is like seeing like how we've gotten better, because like if you go listen to like the first few episodes compared to our later ones, like it's night and day. It's just practice.
It really is, yeah.
And like some of the lessons we learned along the way, like episode 7, I think it's episode 7. I don't know. We'll see later in this, but the conspiracy theory episode where like I totally fucked up the recording because we bought new mics.
Oh yeah, we had audio
and it was like
issues.
So bad. But that episode was so funny. They were like, well, we'll send it out with the terrible audio. So you're just going to see like randomly in the middle of this clip show episode, just like a marked decrease in quality, and then like just ramps back up. And then like, as I was going through this, I thought about the episode we turfed where like I just complained about WestJet for like an hour and a half.
Oh yeah, we did have I actually forgot about that. I wonder, is there anything salvageable?
No, because it also had the bad audio, and it was just me complaining about WestJet losing my golf clubs.
Yeah.
For an hour and a half.
We have had to like fully scrap heap a couple.
That was the only one that we scrap heaped. I mean, we've definitely cut bits.
A couple segments. Yeah,
we've cut bits out of episodes where we're like, oh, that's like we're gonna get canceled.
Which is also growth, because like early on, that's one thing I notice is that and there's a couple things, but that comes to mind is we were really trying to toe the line. And it's not so much that we don't do that anymore. It goes hand in hand with being more comfortable on the microphone, finding our rhythm and having a shtick, the way that we like to record these and what works best for us, working off of each other. But definitely initially, we would say something and we would talk to no end after recording, being like, is this a problem?
Yeah.
Like have we put something out that when people listen to, we're going to be like, you can't fucking say that. We have a whole episode where we talk about the Overton window and just like the shift in what's acceptable. And it's not that we've had this massive shift. It's partly, like I said, that we found our routine, but also, we're comfortable in saying that this is our outlet. This is essentially like our art, and not even to build it up like that. This is not a fucking Picasso.
That's diminishing art in general.
But we are doing this because we love doing this, and we enjoy not only having people tune in and hear what we have to say, but we've got some pretty interesting takes. We try to be funny, and we think it's important not to limit ourselves to just
like PG humor.
Yeah, exactly. I think if anything, we owe it to ourselves to put out a product, to put out a podcast that is worth listening to.
Well, and it's like true to ourselves, right? Like, any of our friends who have sat around with us in the last episode, we had the letter or the email from Stan Darsh where he was saying, we got to enjoy this humor and now it's like out in the world. Our friends sitting around would be like, wow, these are like two of the most like line tonest motherfuckers I know.
Well, you might say like, this is not them.
This is not them.
This is not Dex and Drew's humor. And although we are still mindful, we're just in a more comfortable space with what we say and how we say it. And I think actually this is probably opportune if you've ever been offended by anything we've ever said. This is a comedy podcast. We do play up our characters on this, and we are trying to poke fun at things and have a good time. And these are some of the clips from the last year where we think we did that the best.
Yeah, enjoy. I like him. I want to see more Mission Impossible movies, but where he's
just fucking stop. There's not enough of. There's not enough Fast and Furious movies out there.
I want to see a Mission Impossible movie, but like where he's not expecting a mission. Like he's retired, and this one takes place on September 11th, 2001.
Oh my God, I was feeling bad about some of the jokes I made earlier.
No, so he's on one of the planes.
Oh my, okay, I'm with you.
He stops it from happening.
Oh, very Quentin Tarantino-esque, like yes, rewrites it.
Like
okay,
kind of not spaghetti western style, but that would be inappropriate. Cruise? That would be crossing the line.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, but so he stops it. He's flying the plane away. He's like, we've saved the day, and then the twist is there's a second one. And he has to leap. So this is the big stunt because Tom Cruise does all his own stunts. He has to leap from one to the other and stop the second one as well. No parachute, nothing. Commercial jets.
I'm thinking though, you got something there. It's like Speed, with Keanu Reeves, but like X 9/11, and then like also squared because there's going to be two of them. That's leveled up.
So yeah, basically we need more Mission Impossible movies about real historical events.
Jeez. Yeah, man. Mission Impossible Pearl Harbor.
He gets access to a time machine.
That's how they keep it going. He just starts going back. He's like, I'm going to fix all this bad shit. You look out, and then he like goes back to 17th century, 13 colonies. And he's like, I'm here to spread the word of Scientology. Baja, it's not really a flavor. It's more of a lifestyle, and it suits you.
Yeah, I'm a Baja man.
I was actually, you know what? You beat me to it, but I was gonna say Baja Boy. But yeah, you went with the low hanging fruit. Yeah, Baja Man.
Yeah, I feel like not a lot of men are just drinking Mountain Dew with their buddies. What is it? Almost 10 o'clock on a Wednesday? What?
It's Wednesday, man.
It's Wednesday, my dude.
But you know what? What is time? What are days in the week when you're living that Baja lifestyle? It all just tends to melt away. You know, I used to care. I used to be a real Monday to Friday guy, and then I forget. I think it was you, Dex, who introduced me to the Baja lifestyle. And
you got to be careful though, because we've lost a few to the Baja lifestyle. Leave their families, never return. Just Baja men.
It's just the old Baja bye-bye, yeah. Yeah, it's been hard on our group.
I'm sitting there and I'm listening, and it's the 12 Days of Christmas. Have you ever critically listened to this song?
On the 12th day of Christmas. Yeah. No, I don't think so.
So, okay.
I'd be alarmed at the lyrics, I'm guessing.
Oh, yeah, probably, because you listen to it and you're like, okay, so on the first day of Christmas, you get me a partridge and a pear tree. First of all, if anybody gets me that gift, I'm going to be like, this is the Firebelly Toads of the, how do I fucking care for a partridge? Right?
Yeah, pear tree.
Thanks for the pear tree.
It's out of zone.
Yeah, it's not growing in Alberta.
It's not going to grow here.
We'll assume that they weren't in Alberta while they were writing this, but still, you've got a bird that you now have to care with. What does a partridge eat? I don't fucking know. Second day of Christmas, 2 turtle doves. Okay, so more birds.
You got.
Can it live with the partridge? Can it be in the same? Do I have an aviary? Is this like?
I gotta put on a show yesterday when you got me like a bird, because I didn't really expect you were gonna come over the top day 2 and buy me more birds, man.
Yeah. Third day of Christmas, 3 French hens. Oh, I guess like it can lay eggs, right? Like, but French hens sound like very fancy hens. They sound like show hens.
I'm blown away. I guess I've never listened to the song. You're at 6 birds.
Yeah. Day 4, 4 calling birds.
So it's all birds. Is every gift
10
birds?
You're at 10 birds. So I'm assuming this person has an aviary, or
you're
else this other person is very.
Your house is like a coop.
It just smells like bird shit.
Smells like ammonia and bird shit. Ugh.
5th day, 5 golden rings. So they're okay. Finally, a fucking real gift.
Oh, that's
right?
a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. 6th day, 6 geese a laying. Back with the birds.
I thought we were done with the birds.
So now you're up to 16 birds.
You got me 5 rings yesterday. It really surprised me. Like, I wonder what today's going to be.
Boom, birds. So, like, it feels like they're trolling them, right?
And what kind of birds? You say geese?
Geese a laying. So these are geese laying eggs that are going to turn into presumably more geese.
Oh, yeah. Procreation.
Yeah.
They're making more.
Here's some pregnant geese.
The heifers. And geese are mean. They're big.
Yeah. No, I would. That's not a good gift. Here's some angry birds that are going to nip at you every time
you're
you
at
look
16 birds. These birds are not getting along.
Day 7. What is it? Fuck.
I was impressed. You actually you rattled off.
Well, because I'm listening to this song, I was like, this is ridiculous, and they're counting it down. So
Wow.
12. I need to Google this because I can't. But then, so if it started to get a little dark for me.
So you have 5 rings. You have 6 geese.
6 geese a laying.
What is on day 7?
7 swans a swimming. So you got more.
Off. It's all birds.
It's all birds. And then, so 7 swans a swimming. On the 8th day, 8 maids a milking. So presumably you've got 8 women that come with cows, milk cows. So you've now not only do you have to have an aviary and presumably like a pond for the geese and the swans.
It doesn't say anything about cows.
Well, but if the
maybe
maids
are milking the birds,
they're gonna get you some good bird milk.
Well,
good
bird
for the
milkers.
Good for the bones.
That's what we should get into.
But so then like 9 ladies dancing, 10 lords a leaping, 11 pipers piping, 12 drummers drumming. This person, like, if you're giving people as Christmas gifts, this is a slave.
Do you remember the owner? He would drive like an SRT or not SRT? Yeah, SRT 8, like Jeep Commander or something like that. But he would park right beside on the outside of his office, like against the glass. I don't know if you remember that.
I do remember that. Yep.
And it was someone told me, like in 100% sincerity, they're like, he does that because he ripped some guy off so badly one time that the dude promised him, like, I'm going to drive through your fucking office one day and kill you. And so he was like,
He's like, I'll park my Jeep
he
there.
put his Jeep there as like a barricade every day because he was afraid of this like raging, angry customer that he'd wronged so horribly was going to like come back and get him. And I was like, I believe it. I think that that's real. Yeah, hey, play that owner get run over by a car jingle you've been working on. Yeah. Now we'll pause and do the laugh after. Oh my God.
You just got rammed. So I'm a Landmark man. I go to the Landmark cinemas, but same idea.
What is that?
That's the one in Shaughnessy.
Like, what do we like from back in the day? Like that we always went to?
Like I
by
think
chapters
that
and
used
shit?
to be a Cineplex, I think, for many years, but it got bought out by Landmark.
See, I wouldn't even pay attention to that thing. So Cineplex is like the big one in the southeast when you're going up the Foot, and you're saying like the OG Odeon is now Landmark.
Landmark.
Okay, I'm with you.
And it's like self-serve, so you walk in, you buy your tickets online, as you do these days. You walk in, you can pick all your snacks and popcorn, and then you just pay. So you're not waiting in line with 1,000 people for like 4 employees to bag popcorn. There's like somebody in the back, and they put it into like a glass. It's like at M&M meat shops where you can serve yourself.
Oh, no way.
And so it's really cool. And also the reason why I'm a Landmark man is my Cineplex story. I'm like banned from Cineplex, like owning Cineplex.
Like Pee Wee Herman band, or like, oh yeah, rest in peace, by the way.
I'm allowed to go to a Cineplex, but the problem is I'm not allowed to have an account with them. And this goes back to like when I was working at TELUS when I was 19 in university, and TELUS was doing a promotion with Cineplex and Scene Points, and so customers that signed up for a new plan would get 5,000 Scene Points. And so we would ask them when they're signing up, do you have your Scene card? You get 5,000 Scene Points, which 1,000 Scene Points is a free movie ticket.
Oh, okay.
And so many people would be like, I don't have a Scene card. And instead of me being like, well, let's just throw these fucking 5,000 points into the ether, I'm like, I'll punch in my own Scene card.
See, I'm glad this is going in a fraud direction, because you're first like, I'm banned from that movie theater. You know why dudes get banned from movie theaters?
You know what I did during the Paw Patrol movie? No, it's fraud. Anyway.
Go on.
So I'm entering, and like, honestly, it was like 3 or 4 a day that they didn't have their Scene card, or they didn't have a Scene card, they didn't give a shit. I would enter in my own Scene card. And by the end of this summer promotion, I had amassed about 250,000 Scene Points.
No way.
Yeah. And what you can do with Scene Points,
you don't have to get movies. You can like do like
movies.
You can get like credit like on your credit card and shit.
I was getting full on fucking $100 Swiss Chalet gift cards.
That's what you went for. Stop. No.
Yeah, because there was.
Hold on. I've got Scene, and I want the listeners who don't have Scene, because I'm sure you all have reward programs. There's like you can get like cash deposited into your bank account. You can get flights. My man is stacking ribs and chicken. All right, he's going full Swiss.
To be fair, this is
which is a gross restaurant.
This is it is, but this is 2009, so the Scene program was not as advanced as it is today.
Okay,
and it was not affiliated with your Scotiabank Visa or whatever.
Swiss Chalet was as unadvanced, and if anyone's listening right now, being like, "Oh, what chalet sauce? Fuck you! It's a gross restaurant."
Yeah, but you know what? So here's why we did it. Me and my dude that had like come up with this scheme that I worked with at TELUS. The Swiss Chalet was right behind our store, and so we were basically
proximity.
Just like, we're having free lunches forever.
Yeah, okay.
And so we're cashing it. And I took people to movies. Anytime I went, like somebody's like, "Oh, I want to go see this movie." I'm like, "It's on me." They're like, "Really?" I'm like, "Hell yeah!" Like I got literally 250 free movies on this card right here.
All right, I'm with you.
And then eventually I got an email. It took them a few months, but it was like, your Scene card has been canceled and all points revoked. Which I was like, like it was fun while it lasted. I went to like 20 free movies.
But no extenuating circumstances.
No, that was it. They were just like, your Scene card's been canceled. And so I was like, well, that's like probably how the best of that could have turned out for me. So, but anyway, now when I go punch in my name with Cineplex, I even tried to sign up under a different email, like a new one that I've never used. I only use it on my iPad.
Dax Durnford.
Yeah. And so I signed up, and like moments later I got an email and it was like, you are ineligible for holding a scene card. Please contact customer service. And I was like, I know what this is about.
You criminal.
I know. Yeah.
That's unreal. That's so sick.
So anyway, I'm not allowed to have a scene card, so I'm not going to Cineplex. I'm stacking Landmark points.
So you can't go to VIP. So you go to the one
Landmark
in Shaughnessy.
has their own VIP though.
Okay, what do they call it?
It's like Landmark VIP, yeah.
I guess, yeah.
Or no, Landmark Elite or something. I don't know.
That's
anyway,
very dope.
You got the reclining seats, like the power reclining seats, and like it's dope. It's a nice experience. What I hear similar to Cineplex VIP. I'd never fucking go into one of those shitholes. Anyway. Carrie Fisher in Star Wars, but all the Star Wars cast, like that OG Star Wars cast, because that movie was fully expected to be a flop. They're like, nobody wants to watch this shitty space movie. And so they were taking salaries of like $1,000 a week, $10,000 a week for like, which is pretty low for like a big name movie star.
Yeah, I think Harrison Ford is in that boat too. He either like made it under some kind of like crazy stipulation regarding residuals as well, or it was like, I'll do this, but you have to make this fucking movie for me kind of thing.
Yeah. And so Carrie Fisher, she got, and it doesn't seem like a lot, but when you think about the amount of money Star Wars has made, she got 1/4% of all money the franchise has ever made.
What?
And Star Wars is like $1 trillion franchise.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So, and it's same thing with like some of the other actors, like I forget who it was, but they made, I think it was Mark Hamill, just from the first movie with all the residuals and stuff, he made $80 million in like 1970, 80 money, right? Which is like more than he's made ever in any other movie combined that he's ever done. So it's pretty wild. Like they, you know, if you're an up and coming actor, like consider the potential of theater. But then there's Hollywood accounting.
Go on.
You've never heard of Hollywood accounting?
Well, kind of.
They'll basically purposely fudge the books to make it look like a loss to the studio, because that's how they'll claim back. Like they'll claim a loss on the marketing of the movie or whatever, or they'll spend a shitload of money on other stuff, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, so you'll get like 20% of the profits," but then they'll throw in like $100 million in marketing and blah blah, blah, and there'll be all these stipulations. And then at the end, they're like, "Oh, the movie lost $9 million. It's a huge box office success and all of this." And it's Hollywood accounting. And then the actors and actresses that you know sign on for those post theatrical deals, they get shafted hard.
Oh, very interesting.
So they almost like they have to, and very few can actually pull this off. You either need to be a bigger name going into a smaller movie, or you need to be like just a huge name that can kind of command any contract. You've got to say, no, it's not the after profit I'm getting. It's 2% of the actual revenue, because they will fuck up with the accounting.
Get that Carrie Fisher money.
Get that Carrie Fisher money, baby.
Yeah, I wonder what she's doing now.
It's a very sad story.
Yeah, her and Elizabeth May just fucking...
Talking about their Star Wars money.
Can't
Elizabeth
take it with
May
you.
was in Star Wars, right?
Yeah. She was Jabba.
the Hutt.
Stop. I fuck you not. We literally
both said that at the same time.
You owe me a Pepsi. Oh my god. Yeah, that was her breakout role. Recycle, reuse, reduce. Yeah.
Oh, it's killing me. So I remember, I forget his name, the shop teacher, but
The cool one or the bad one?
The cool one.
Mr. Perry. I think.
Yes.
Mr. fucking Perry was his first name.
He was dope, but he took safety very seriously, as a shop teacher should. And I remember the first day he put out this test. It was like a quiz or something. It was like day one. And at the top of the test, it said, "Please read all bullet points and instructions before beginning the test and then hand it in." And so like that's what it said at the top of the page. And me being like, obviously I'll just fucking like, this is basically an open book test. I'm going to read each bullet point as I need it. So I went to question 1, like went back to some of the bullet points, filled them in. And then you get to the last bullet point after you've just filled in this whole thing with pen. And it's like, if you've read this far and have not started, please hand in this blank quiz. And so it wanted to like test your attention to detail.
No.
And so
He had written all over it.
I had marked this thing up. It was
got
just
you.
blue. Oh yeah, blue pen all over. And I'm like watching all these kids who have not written a single thing go hand in their test way before me. And I was like, are they asking questions? I wasn't really cluing in. And then I saw that final bullet point and I was like, fuck.
Did you just crumple it up?
Well, I took it up and I was like, I didn't follow the instructions. And he's like, yeah. So, and I remember.
That's such an authentic assessment. I'm going to go full dork teacher for a moment. That's brilliant.
Oh yeah.
It was
That's good.
Awesome.
It accomplished what he needed to know about who can follow instructions and focus on very important details.
And it was not you.
And it was not me. And I remember like all the kids that did do it properly, they got to go back and fuck around with the drill press and like do some basic things. And I had to watch like an hour-long video about dudes just getting their fucking arms ripped off and by the table saw and shit. And yeah, that was pretty wild. But so and then I did not enjoy shop class because I was just like the remedial shop class student. I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah, I remember Mr. Perry was awesome. Like, we just get him off topic and he would tell like wild stories. Like, he had like life experience. That's what I remember about Mr. Perry. I don't remember like learning anything about building. And I don't remember the tests. I do remember like telling my mom, like, we build skateboards, like the prefab, like you just had to like cut them out and then paint them, put grip tape on them. You know, use the jigsaw. And then he's like, you can build whatever you want. And I wanted, like, I just got my own room. And I wanted, like, a big entertainment unit to fit my, like, Zenith 15-inch tube TV.
Weighs 400 pounds.
Oh, my God. And my mom, because you could just, like, basically fill out a form of what you wanted. He was a very organized teacher. And you'd bring it home and be like, this is my project. And so kids are building, like, the most random and ridiculous things. Poorly, I might add. And I wanted to build this entertainment unit, and I was like, yeah, I need 3 sheets of fur and a full board of MDF. And Mom's like, this class is costing a fortune. And then I proceeded to like fuck it up. Now I'll never forget, I had like done all the cuts and it was like time to assemble, and we like went to assemble it and it like did not line up. So Mr. Perry, being a cool dude, like just grabbed the skill saw and like did his magic and like fixed my mistakes. But in order to do so, he had to trim like 33.3% repeated off of this thing to like make it square. So it didn't even fit my fucking TV. And my brother and I had to go get it, and it was huge. It was like this whole thing. We like moved it into my room, and I was just like such a bitch kid, being like, I hate it. You know, like I don't want. It's still in my parents' garage. Yeah. But
memories.
But he was the cool one, and then he pieced out, and we got like Mr. Wiener. Did you ever take it with him?
Was that his actual name?
No.
Okay.
No, I called him Mr. Wiener because, like, within the first month of school, someone sharpied a wiener on his F-150. And he, like, was flexing on the class, being like, just so you know, I know how to get that off. We're like, oh, cool, man.
No, I did not take shop class after grade 7 because like I said, I just didn't really enjoy it because, you know, hindsight being 2020, it's because I was a danger to me and everyone around me. And I was limited in my ability to actually enjoy shop class the way the other kids were enjoying it. So I was like, yeah, no, I think I'm going to go do a different option class.
Grade 9 shop class is where Megan and I fell in love.
Ooh.
Yeah, 100%. I showed her the dark side. She was a real nerd, and I was just like, watch this. And I remember going in. They had the back room where they'd keep all the projects. And I was just like breaking birdhouses, just like taking a hammer. He had this one, it was Mr. Wiener, not Mr. Perry. Mr. Wiener had this project where you had to like, you know, design a house, but you were just allowed to use like little 3/4 pieces, like put onto like particle board. And I remember just going back there with a hammer and just like finding kids that I didn't particularly like and breaking their project, and then finding projects that were done well and then telling Mr. Wiener that they were mine and getting amazing grades. And there's something about it. Megan's like, there's something here. I want to spend the rest of my life with
There's
this
a lot
guy.
of potential here. I want to raise a family with this man. All right. Text from my mom. And I think when I was first like telling you this, I mean, it's a text, right? So you read it with the wrong tone, because when I first read it,
You have to mess the tone up.
Yeah.
Like, she's coming in hot. It's a howler.
when I first read it, I read that she was like coming in hot and like very like offended. But after I reread it back, it's not that way. So I may have overhyped it to you. But anyway, okay. So she listed it out because my mom's a very organized, like very professional woman. So we've got like bullet points here. So, 1, did not know about the Cineplex scene fraud. So, which like, I mean, obviously, I'm not gonna be like, hey, like at the time I think I was like 19 years old.
And when do you bring that up?
Yeah, I wasn't gonna be like, hey, mom, yeah, I'm doing really well in life. I'm committing a very large fraud through my employer so I can go to movies for free. Like, it just wasn't a thing that came up at like the dinner table.
It's in your Christmas card annually.
Yeah, I think at that point, no, I would have moved out by then, but like I had barely been moved out. Like, was probably still going back to my mom's house for like dinners and stuff occasionally. So, you know, I didn't want to like be like, hey mom, I've been out of the house for 3 months and I'm already committing fraud and like I've become the worst version of myself.
Oh, my boy's doing well. Oh, he's eating Swiss chalet like a motherfucker.
Oh yeah. I was drinking just, you know, like the Hydro Flask. I was just filling that up with chalet sauce. Yeah.
Damn.
2, I brought frugal indoor school runners because they came home in June unworn. You know what? That's valid. Because I talked about how she always bought like just the cheapest, worst, like Payless sale bin. Sizes aren't even the same for the left and right foot. But, you know, that's fair. Because I definitely would go to school and be like, nah, I'm just going to wear my cool outdoor shoes.
You just lie right to your phys ed teacher. I'll live that life. Be like, are those your indoor shoes? And they're like, yes. There's a cake in mud. 6 months old. I'm like, are you sure?
Number 3, I always love Alicia's open and close. Would love to hear a mom's episode because I think we teased the potential of that last time.
Yeah, and actually, I think we have we? We've broached that with our wives. It's the potential is there.
I think the potential is there. And actually, Alicia was telling me she's like more game to do it because she's a big fan of the New Heights podcast with Travis and Jason Kelsey.
Okay.
And Jason Kelsey had his wife Kylie on one of the most recent episodes. And she was hilarious. I saw some clips of it, but Alicia thought the episode was awesome. And so then she was like a little more gung-ho to do a wives episode.
So for me, it goes one of two ways. They come on and crush, and like rad moms. We've talked about this. Like, becomes like the actual draw, and like we fucking that's when we get divorced and like we live in race car beds. You know, they're so funny. But I also like there's a reality where they come on and they just don't have, you know, they don't have what we have. They don't have the banter back and forth.
I feel like we would have to do it with them.
We're gonna like all be on. We can pick up. Yeah,
share a mic back and forth between our wives. But I don't know. Okay, anyway,
let's do it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Anne, for all that feedback.
There's still more.
Oh shit, that's just point 1, 2, and 3. All right, continue.
Wait, she jumps to 0.5, but there's no 0.4. So
intentionally, mind fuck.
Yeah. Now we know why I failed math. It's genetic.
You come by it honestly.
Yeah. 5. You guys are doing great. I love listening. Keep going.
Aw, awesome.
Yeah.
I wish
that was technically point number 4, written as point number 5. I wish I knew
what number 4 really was.
Yeah,
I want to know what you deleted. I want to know what you backspaced. That was nuts, by the way. Quick backtrack. Stormy Daniels, when they're like, he did this, Cohen paid me hush money, like there's legal expense and all this stuff, and like she was just straight up like, and I can describe his penis in great detail. Like, it's like, you know.
I was like, please don't.
Yeah, no, we're good. You know, cut to the next story. But I always, like, thought of that as being, like, a funny defense for Donald Trump. He's like, I'll prove it.
Just whips out his hog.
Just pulls his friggin' mini orange hog out with, a comb over. And he's just like, told you, it's not my dick she's describing. And everyone's just like, he's innocent. You know what else was really cool was Casual Media Co. We definitely have to give them a shout out because, again, that's a company that our friend started who not only performed, but then brought in a videographer to get those like really, really wonderful clips. Like that thing that you posted that he sent you.
Yeah.
That was unreal.
And it blew up. Like so many people were just watching that. And I was just watching. I was like, man, like he obviously the videographer, very talented. Like he made that event look like the must see. Like if you weren't there, you fucking missed out. Absolutely,
he did a fantastic job.
It was a great video. Check out the reel if you haven't already on our Instagram. But.
And definitely like for anyone who's doing that sort of thing, like I've got the fishing business. You know, like there's other people looking to promote themselves. Definitely check out Casual Media Co. because you would have no idea. Like what we just described and what I was talking about being like negative Nelly. No way. You look at that reel, you look at that, and you're like, these guys. literally put on the best show ever.
Oh yeah, like the event to be at in Okotoks in 2023.
Yeah, fantastic. I also laughed so much. There was a moment where we were like, we got to go talk to the camera guy.
Oh yeah.
And we're going to go, where he's like, we're going to get a couple shots of you guys. We're going to do like an interview. And that was the word that was used.
Yeah, he just as we set expectations for the dad jokes incorrectly, I think he set the interview, I'm using air quotes, he set the interview expectations incorrectly.
Hey, you guys got to go get interviewed. So we go out, we're like outside the brewery and he points his camera at us and he's like doing a walk and it's got like the little gyro on it, you know, like keeping it level. I don't think it's a gyro. I don't think it's like the thing that makes your handlebars spin, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we just start like giving him our life story, you know, like just like, we're like, so we've been friends since, like grade 4. And we both have kids. We wanted to start this podcast. And this guy full stop was like,
all right, pause.
Pause. What are you doing?
Too much talking.
Yeah. We're like, oh, what do you want us to do? And he's like, just introduce the show.
And then we had so much trouble doing that.
We couldn't do it.
Like 10 takes.
Oh, or like you would be good and I would be bad, or I would be good and you would be bad. Yeah. And like we did so many takes. And then finally he's like, all right. And we're like, all right. He's like,
I got some stuff I can work with. Like it was not a like resounding like nailed it, boys.
Yeah, same thing. Was like, did we do good? And he's like, there's a take I like. I can probably fix it. Oh man. Okay, what else do I got here? I got a couple more. Oh, this one was I didn't actually write down anything other than the title of this one. I just thought it was a funny prompt. I'm not sure when this was, but Stevie Wonder, not blind.
Just been faking it for so long.
Yeah. When I read that, I was like, I hope it's true. Because then, like, that's almost the only thing more impressive than Stevie Wonder being like visually impaired and like still having the career and the life that he's had, and he's such a talented individual. The only thing like better than that is that it's all fake. And he's just like this really horrible human that's so committed.
He's faking a disability.
Oh,
yeah.
Kayfabe, like he's never, ever, ever, ever gonna come clean. Like literally on his deathbed, like just like his closest loved one, like, come here, I gotta tell you something. Like, I see you.
I want to see like a YouTube video of him, and he's like kind of going out. He's got his big old sunglasses on, and he's going to a basketball court, and then he just throws down the sunglasses, pulls up, hits a 3 from like way outside the arc, and he's just like, I could see the whole time, and then they cryogenically freeze him. So we can't get answers for like a long time.
It was queued up. He was just supposed to be dipped. He actually shot the 3-point on top of this like giant platform.
And he just slowly transforms into a block of ice.
Welcome to the Rad Dad Redemption Podcast. Here are your hosts, Robot 1 and Robot 2.
Welcome back for another episode of Fat Guy Basement Talk. My wiener is small.
I also have a small wiener.
I can't satisfy my wife.
The female orgasm is a myth.
Ha 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 ha. Okay, enough silly time. Let's get down to serious talk.
I agree. Business time.
Did you know that if you put truck nuts on a truck, you make it transgender?
Please expand on this thought.
The truck was not made with nuts. They were added after.
Wow. Thought-provoking.
Did you see the new episode of Untold?
Yes, the one about the Elizabeth May boxing match?
R.I.P.
Rest in pieces, Lizard May.
I can't believe they let that fight happen. She was no match for Tim Tebow.
Tim Tebow has blood on his hands. He killed a Canadian politician. He is an assassin with no heart.
He also did school at his house. Terrible.
That's all the time we have for now.
On our next show, we will still be fat. Don't miss it.
Here's the thing about all the dating shows: Bachelor, Love is Blind, Bachelor in Paradise, Bachelor in, Sub-Saharan Africa, all the different flavors of The Bachelor. They all go on and they're like, I'm looking for love. Like, I'm really tired of playing games. I've done all of this. I've had the relationships. It's like really time to settle down. And the way that they decide to do that is by turning their love life into a game show.
Into a circus.
Yeah, they're just like, I'm ready to get serious. So I'm going to go on a show where I talk to somebody in a pod and then we decide before seeing each other if we want to get married. I'm like, is that the way? You've had some bad experiences and you think that's gonna be any better?
I think I created a fake show in my head where like all the contestants were blind, but Love is Blind is where they're behind their curtains and they gotta like go off the voice and the things people okay, you know what, Megan watches this one. Yeah. So they start out, there's a person in one like cubicle and they start asking questions and sharing stories, and there's always like a cliche emotional bit like, you know, like, oh man, my brother back in the day, like he got cut from the baseball team or whatever. I don't know. Fuck. That's a shit example, but
my brother got cut from the baseball team and it really shaped who I am today.
You know what happened there is I thought of like a horribly dark example. I'm like, I don't want to say that on the podcast. You got to be mindful of some of the stuff. What's a bad thing that would happen to a kid, you know? But like two of my like most vivid memories of hanging out with you as children. One is I think we were hanging out in your basement and your mom was exercising or something while like we were playing video games, and Clint was playing Duke Nukem Land of the Babes, and he like worked himself into a literal corner in the game where he was like Duke could not like go past a door. He didn't have the key. It's like one of those Doom style games, and so he just kept pressing the button to like unlock door, but he didn't have it. And every time you did that, the character Duke Nukem would like have a one-liner like, damn it.
He would like cycle through his like limited voice lines. Yeah.
Oh, piece of shit door.
I do remember that. And my mom was like, what are you guys playing?
What game are you guys playing? And then the other one was, I think they must have gone out to some, not that they were like absentees or anything, but it was one of those like sleepovers where like, hey, mom and dad are going for dinner. We got you pizza. We got you blah, blah, blah. And we ended up CBC because you didn't have the channels. We watched the fucking Sheldon Kennedy story.
Yeah. Which is a heavy watch for some kids in grade 4.
No context. Just like Friday night movies. I didn't even know who Sheldon Kennedy was.
No.
Oh man, I'm like, so what? He's a hockey player? This is cool. I like hockey. Like, what's?
Well, and they showed like some scenes from like him wearing his Flames jersey, and I'm obviously a Flames fan. I was like,
Flames
this is cool, like Sheldon Kennedy, like Flames player. Why isn't he going on the ice like that? The big scene where he kind of like as an adult kind of has to grapple with like what
having
happened
a hard
to him.
time. Yeah.
And I'm just like, why isn't he going on the ice? Like,
well, I was gonna explain it all here. Yeah, he's got this Graham James guy. He's a pretty cool coach. I wonder how this is gonna turn out.
I keep saying we should have like a paid only subscription through OnlyFans where like our closest fans.
Do you think our human resources managers at work would pay the fee for our premium episodes just to like write us up and fire us?
Maybe. I could just imagine like their company card and they're expensing OnlyFans memberships.
Yeah. We should release it on Grindr only. It's a Grindr exclusive. Is our premium episodes. And then, there's the conversation like, oh, you heard that one? You heard us say that? Like, how did you hear it?
Interesting.
Yeah. Thanks for the subscription. Here's your commemorative Rad Dad Holy.
And we'll make it so that they can only buy like 2 years at a time. So it's not even like they can just log in once and get what they need.
Well, because we're going to need money.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So I think we're on to something there. You know what pisses me off about Costco is when they've got like a sample of laundry detergent that you can take home and do one load of laundry with. I think one day I'm just to teach them a lesson. I'm going to
fucking eat it. You're going to do the Tide Pod challenge live.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I come here for snacks. Sir, please.
Why would you give a sample of a Tide Pod? Who thought this was a good idea? My throat's just absolutely eviscerated. Yeah.
Oh, that's a I think you should leave now sketch, and you're just like Ralphing in front of them. This is just full poisoned. Oh, I like that. That's some live content. We might need to actually let's keep working that bit.
Yeah, well, they have the the Wednesday night or Tuesday night dinner. It's the champions dinner. So the past champion, the guy that won last year, so Scotty Scheffler, you get to pick the menu, and all the past champions come and have a big dinner.
Yes.
And that's a big thing, is the menu comes out and you get to see, what did Scotty pick, right? And it says a lot about, maybe their personality and their culture. I think he's from Texas, so there was like ribeye and sliders for appetizers. But the year before was Hideki Matsuyama, so obviously there's some more of that like Japanese flavor there, like Kobe beef and I think there's sashimi and stuff like that. So it's cool to see the menus that these guys pick, because they get to curate their menu for their champions dinner. And then, I mean, how cool is it? You get to pick the menu, and then you just got like Tiger Woods, Jack Nicklaus, like these huge names showing up to eat in your honor, eat your menu that you picked. Oh, how sick is that?
John Daly just like, all right, tonight's menu, we got 4 Loco, corn dogs.
We're having
cigarettes.
We're having Bush Light and cigarettes for the appy. Hooters hot wings for dessert.
Oh my God, yeah. Everyone's just all in their green coats, just wiping rib sauce on their fucking shit.
Just buffalo sauce and blue cheese dip all over their fancy green jackets. Yeah.
They're like trying to get McElroy to smoke, and he's like, "No, I don't. I'm an athlete." And he's like, "It's on the menu, you motherfucker. Suck back this jet."
You have to have a whole pack of Marlboro Reds before you can move on to the main course.
It's mandatory. You can't compete unless you complete. I think that should be a rule. God damn.
John Daly would just have like a hot dog eating contest instead of like an actual menu, just like a
Nathan's Famous. You got to get a 30 before you can friggin' tee off.
Yeah,
that'd be a cool way to like corner the competition, being like, you know what, I might not win this thing ever again unless I can force feed all of the field with 30 hot dogs.
Oh. Unforgettable dramas, timeless classics, hilarious comedies, award winners you'll never forget. Dexy's Movie Reviews. Oppenheimer earns a score of 9 farts out of 10.
When the host of the show comes out and gets everything going, he's like, these are first-time comedians. Some of these guys literally are going to come up here and wet their pants. They've never done it before. So they tell you, like, don't heckle.
Please do not heckle these people who are putting themselves up there for the first time.
Don't be those people. Like, give them a shot. So it was a good environment too.
Yeah.
But then when Andy comes out, they're like, all bets are off. Do what you want. And it was like, I dare you to say something to him. He'll crush you.
He got some people pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
and the problem is, like, of course now it's like, show starts at 8. He's going on at, just before 9, I guess. So people have been like drinking pretty good for an hour, maybe more than an hour if they got there early.
Oh, I was polluted.
Right? And the guy behind us, I think, was on one, and he said some weird shit. And then there's the Freedom Convoy lady in the front row.
I can't believe she thought she was going to get a cheer. She stood up. Like, while Andy Haynes is doing his set, and she, like, stood up, and, like, she was Hulk Hogan in that moment, like, turned around at the crowd and was like, freedom! Or not Hulk Hogan, she was Mel Gibson.
She went full Braveheart.
She went full Braveheart. And then it was silent. People were, like audible groans, like, oh, my God. And, like, cool.
I think the setup for that, he was like, he's like, I love coming to Calgary. It's the Canadian city I come to the most. And he's like, last time I was here, though, somebody almost, like, got on stage and whooped my ass because I was making fun of the Freedom Convoy. And yeah, this husky lady steps up and she's just like, freedom.
Oh yeah.
And he was like, well, sit the fuck down. And he's like, you're a white lady in Alberta. What the fuck kind of freedom you got? Like, did your husband not ask you to make dinner tonight? And it killed. It was so funny.
Oh my God. That it was incredible. The heckling thing. So like, we go and we watch you. And thanks again for driving us. That was very cool. My parents were like, we want to see Dex. But like, if you know anything about us, is like, we like to party. And my parents are like, so who's driving? And I'm like, well, Dex was going to drive me. Like, I'm running support. He's not obviously going to enjoy himself in terms of libations. He's got to go perform. So like, I was kind of already shooting my shot. And they were like, well, great. Like, will he take us in? I'm like, well, Dex kind of has a lot on his plate. Like he's but you were like, absolutely, like, hop in. And so you drove us all up there. But it was so funny to me. We were talking in the car about the show and how my dad was being very complimentary and being like, I'm proud of you, Dex. I can't believe you're going to go and put yourself out there. Like you must have like a lot of confidence. Like how tough is this going to be to just go and stand in front of all these people you don't know and just like tell your jokes? Like good for you. It's really impressive. And then I think it came up in the car. It's like, well, it is impressive. It is fantastic. But they do a lot. They tell us that it's going to be a safe space. They request that there's no heckling. And my dad has this like super disappointed look on his face. Like he's literally like, oh, what? And I'm like, what do you mean what? He's like, you can't heckle them? And like before I could even like unpack that and like kind of like ask him another question, my mom's like, oh yeah, your dad's a heckler. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, hold on. You heckle? And dad just like smug grin is like, oh yeah, I heckle. Like you don't want me at your comedy show. Like I get him. And it was so funny to me that he like identifies as a heckler. Like it's on his driver's license, you know, like he's just like Murray Hoover heckler. And it was so like, it kind of like an epiphany, you know, snapped in my head. I was like, oh my God, this explains so much. You know, like my dad's just really good at yelling mean things at people. It's like my whole childhood was explained in like 10 seconds. You know, like I'm at the Pee Wee hockey game and the kids on my team on the bench are like, did your dad just call you a shit stain? And I'm like, he's a heckler. Don't worry, he identifies as a heckler. Yeah, it's just him.
It's a big part of who he is. You wouldn't get it.
You wouldn't get it. It's just who he is. But that was like, because after we watched you and it was like a transcendent experience, I was so proud of you and I was so amped. I know we both were, and I was like, I want to do this. We write jokes, we do jokes together. Like I'm next. I'm gonna like sit and write some stuff down. And the whole next day, coming on the heels of your show, like I wrote bits. Like I was like barely doing my job because like everything that came up, you know, and like we're very much, I wouldn't say observational humor. We like to draw from our own experiences, you know, because funny stuff happens to us. We're funny guys. We do shit and like we like to talk about it. And so I thought that was like a really hilarious thing that my dad was like, I identify as a heckler. I'm a big dog heckler. And so I wrote this bit about like how heckling's kind of a funny word and it's like one social ranking above diddler. And like, what if we just like swap those around? Like my dad's gonna be like, oh man, I went to the club last night. I diddled so many amateurs. I diddled this one guy so hard he couldn't even finish his set, you know? And I was just like writing all this stuff down and I went and I thought it was so funny. I was actually busting myself up like in my car. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna kill. This is so great. And then I think it was Thursday night, we went golfing, had a couple drinks, and I told Megan, I was like, I've been writing jokes because we were talking about you and how well you did. She's like, okay, like lay them on me. And I like, you know, it's kind of an awkward thing to like, you're not in front of a crowd. You're just like one person. So I'm like setting the stage, like imagine there's all these people.
I struggled, not to interrupt your story, but
no, please.
Same idea. I struggled when we sat down on Sunday and I was trying to go through my joke with you. It was very awkward to say it just to you.
Yeah.
And you, I think a lot of jokes like what you just said kind of rely on the context of being on a stage in a comedy club with people
many
staring
people.
at you.
Yeah, with many
like
people.
Like you're there to perform and when it's one-on-one, it's very different. Yeah, I will be honest, the most awkward and probably most nervous I was to do my jokes was when I was practicing them with you, and I was also doing them with Geese when we were online just chatting, and I was like, I don't even know how to position this. Anyway, continue. But I understand what you're saying.
Totally true. And I live that with my wife because I tell her these jokes, and these are jokes that like I'm not joking. I was dying. I'm like, this is the funniest thing. No one has written a joke this funny. Like this is my fish sticks. Like I'm never gonna work again. I'm gonna tell these jokes and everyone's gonna be like, this guy 33 hasn't been doing this live. And I bombed in front of my wife. She was like full of what do you mean diddler? Like you don't go talk about diddling, you know? Like, and I had another joke that like there was the necessity was a crowd, and like I'm like trying to like deliver it as I might, and she's just like I can see it on her face like.
It's an awkward position to put the other person into as well, right?
Oh, she's like trying to go to bed. She's like reading 50 Shades. I'm like, all right, put that shit down. I got jokes. You gotta listen to me.
I don't know. I've got a range of styles, but to go back to the scene style in high school,
yes,
like that was my defining style. Was like obviously I loved, that kind of music, that scene music, local hardcore shows and stuff like that. I was wearing the skin tight jeans, the band shirts, the black hair.
Let's unpack the skin tight jeans. You knew it was coming up because it was you and my boy Ross, who actually is an avid listener. So shout out my guy. He's international. He's wild international. But you guys didn't wear just like tight jeans.
Yeah, it wasn't tight jeans. They were women's jeans.
They were women's jeans. And before I tee off, certainly Overton window, much more acceptable. Wear whatever you want. You see people out there in like designer dresses that are just like neutral, whatever. But like it was striking back then to see like dudes just wearing women's True Religion jeans. But you guys, you pulled them off. And I was surprised actually. It was like a big reveal the one time, chilling with Ross, and I'm like, where do you even buy these fucking pants? Like, you are so skinny. Like, what pants store do you go to? And he was like, I don't know, like La Senza. And I'm like,
okay, that's a lingerie store.
Is it? I don't fucking know.
Ross, where do you buy those pants? He's just wearing like a garter and stockings. And to go back to like your, I guess, alternative facts or however you want to term that, I think a big part of that is like it can be very easy if you're watching the news looking for answers in some of these situations. Like some situations are like, turn on the 5 o'clock news, man murdered, here's who shot him, here's all the witnesses, he's going to trial next week or whatever, right? But there's a lot of things in our world that like we really don't understand. And so when that reactor meltdown was happening, you had experts that would be on CNN or whatever news source you're watching that would be like, hey, they're trying to cap this or do this or like enclose it with concrete. But if that doesn't happen, it could leak into the ocean and cause this. Or if the blob sinks through, it could burn all the way through the earth. That was one of the things that they talked about during Chernobyl. If the active uranium melts through the floor of the fucking power plant, they're like, this is it burns hotter than the surface of the sun. It can go right through the earth and come up on the other end.
It's going to China.
And so that was what they were like, oh, and what's on the other side of Russia? It's like, oh, like, and so people were talking about that. But nobody knows because that's never happened before. And so on the news, I went to broadcast school. They didn't teach me like nuclear reactors and shit.
No way. What is that? What just happened?
That's our Google Home broadcast. So my daughter just interrupted my very like
you were on one
prescient thought about like news and stuff like that, requesting craft dinner over the fucking broadcast system.
That's hilarious. Okay, but that's kind of time they were talking about like the new tech. You just got fully buzzed by your.
Oh yeah, she's like, I want craft. I know you're doing something very important that you do bi-weekly in the basement.
Daddy,
I need craft dinner.
Craft dinner. Thank you. Bye.
But and what's funny about that broadcast system is that like I'll say something to her, she'll be like upstairs in the playroom, and so I'll say, okay, please broadcast, and I'll say the message, and it'll play up there, and then she like won't respond. It's usually like, hey, come down for dinner. And so then all that happens is I do what our parents did and just like lean at the bottom of the stairs. I'm like,
yeah, you've got this technology. You got to stomp on the floorboards. Yeah.
Go back to like. I was playing with my mic there, and so I had to pause for a second because I put it on mute. Good thing you pointed it out.
I picked that out. We would have talked for another 20 minutes on mute, or just me.
Yeah. But yeah. Anyway, so she won't hear my message, and I'm just like a caveman rubbing two sticks together trying to start a fire, just yelling back up the stairs. So, but yeah. Anyway, I went to broadcast school. This is the thought that I had before my daughter requested craft dinner to the whole fucking house.
Announcement.
I went to broadcast school, and in the 2-year program at Mount Royal, they do not teach you about the intricacies of nuclear power and stuff like that, right? So
you skip that class.
Well, yeah, and so you, even as a person presenting the news, and you have to present it very confidently, and in a very fact-based way most of the time, but you rely on experts. And again, even these experts, they're drawing on the knowledge that they've learned in university. It could be 20 years ago, but again, that's never been practical knowledge, right? You can sit in your nuclear physics theory class and talk about what would happen if there's a meltdown and it gets through the floor of the fucking power plant, and is it going to go all the way through the earth? Who knows, right? And so I think sometimes people they get very I guess what's the word I'm looking for, non-confident in the news, or they don't believe it because the news can be wrong and the experts that they bring on can be wrong. And it's really just it can be a fact-finding mission that takes forever, and you can have competing theories and all of that, and then it's very easy to see these competing theories or them present information in the future that contradicts previous information, where it's just like, well, they don't fucking know anything, or like they're changing their story. Here they go. Here goes, the fucking Illuminati, like giving them their marching orders, right? It's very easy to fall into that when really it's like, science is not an exact science, right? It is a series of like trials and tribulations. Another message.
Someone wants an apple. Can I also have an apple?
I'm gonna unplug the Google.
Oh, man, you got the thought out. That was good.
I'm glad I got the thought out before it. Apparently now we also need sliced apples.
What is there, like 4 people every square kilometer in Alberta? I think that's...
Is it even that much? Like, I wouldn't be shocked if it's even lower than that.
Yeah, we got space. Come to Alberta.
Yeah. There's a good chunk of it that's probably not even habitable.
Yeah, the nuclear wastelands.
Of Grand Prairie.
Yeah, I mean, there's some pretty hills have eyes type areas that no one should inhabit.
And his voice is so funny. Obviously, R.I.P. Gilbert. But what I wanted to do for the longest time, whenever somebody got married, is I wanted to get as a wedding gift, worst wedding gift ever, but get Gilbert Gottfried to read like this script that I wrote. I just kept putting it off and putting it off and putting it off, and then he fucking died.
You killed him.
He was waiting on and he just couldn't wait any longer. Yeah.
Jeez.
But I just wanted it to be. Have you seen The Aristocrats?
I don't think
It's a movie about this old like comedy joke, and everybody has their own way of telling it. It's usually very dirty. Bob Saget's on there, and like just Sarah Silverman. They all tell their version of the Aristocrats.
I'm familiar
joke.
with this. I haven't seen it.
So like Gilbert Gottfried, he tells this joke, and it's very like a lot of sexual and like violence and like all that kind of stuff, and it's just hilarious in his voice. And so I always wanted as a wedding gift for him to be like, oh, like great job getting married. Have a great honeymoon with all the fucking and sucking and rimming and fisting, and I just wanted to list off like every gross sexual thing you could do to like your partner and give that to somebody. And I kept
You
thinking,
do
like,
amazing, Gilbert Gottfried.
is that not bad?
Yeah.
Okay. No, that's terrible.
I like that concept though.
Wouldn't that be funny?
That'd be so wicked.
Yeah, just- and it could start so like so mundane or so PG, right? Just like, your friend X really wanted to wish you like
There it is.
happy wedding.
I wanted to go, I think it was the 11th grade. I wanted to be a sexy cop. You know, like Regina George style. Like I wanted to be like a slutty cop. I thought that'd be funny. And so I found these like size 2 pants that were like pleather, women's pants. And they were toit. Like they were like, couldn't get them on. Like, good thing I'm like not packing because
Very
I,
like Ross and Friends.
yeah. Oh
Okay.
yeah. And then I can't remember. I had like a bejeweled shirt. That was like my mom's. I think it was like an Eagles shirt she had from a concert, like bejeweled shirt. And then like to like fill out the cop aspect, my dad. And this is much like your working at the cell phone store, like committing fraud, like didn't realize at the time kind of thing. Like my dad was a cop. My dad was Royal Canadian Mounted Police for like 28 years. And so he has like locked away all these different outfits. And when I say outfits, I'm making it sound like they're Halloween costumes. No, these are like
his regalia.
His
stuff.
regalia.
Yeah.
These are like his like actual like standard issue cop gear. And so like what I did is I wore these like sexy pants, my mom's like eagle top, and then I just like took a bunch of like actual police shit and wore it, including the like blue policeman's cap with the RC badge on top, and like went to school. And it was funny, you know, we're fucking around. Like grade 11's like that age where like, especially for me, like, you know, some kids are like, oh, like, getting close to the end. Like, what am I gonna do for college? I'm trying to figure out how to do like as little class as possible, drink as many Big Bears as possible, and it was just that era. So it was like really funny, and I found out after the fact because like there had been a couple pictures, I think either from school or we went to some house party after, and I was like kitted out and all this shit, and my dad saw it, and he was like, "You fucking idiot. That's a crime." And I was like, "What do you mean? Like, can't wear sexy pants?" And he's like, no. Like, you're wearing like actual fucking RCMP shit. That's like impersonating an officer. You can't have that. Like, I could get in fucking trouble. Like, it was a huge deal. And I was just like, typical teenager. I'm like, so whatever, Dad. Like, you're so lame. He's like, no, you do not understand. You're impersonating an officer. Like, I could have gotten
a sexy one,
a sexy cop. Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right. Hopefully you enjoyed the clip show, a little run down memory lane, if you will.
Yeah, hopefully you're still here. I mean, the idea was that it was going to be back to back to back, like high quality segments. At the very least, we accomplished a trip down memory lane, and we certainly had a fun time doing it, but actually pretty fucking hard time getting through all of those and picking out the clips. So I do hope that you enjoyed it.
I feel like we collectively, once this is all said and done, we will have listened to ourselves for like no less than 50 hours to put this episode
episode.
This is the last episode. I'm pretty tired of that, actually.
Oh my God. We're so reflective right now, like so introspective. Like, oh my God.
But thanks for listening to the clip show. Wrapping up the year. We're gonna come at it with some new stuff. We're not gonna lean on our old shit and callbacks so much in the next episode.
This very much feels like a closing of the chapter, not only in the sense that we've provided this summary and this snapshot of our body of work, but everything that we've learned in the last year. We don't want to rehash things. We don't want to be unoriginal. And so this was kind of like a nice, like, hey, look at that time and space. Look at all the memories we've had, and like we're moving forward now. So thanks for joining us on our journey.
It feels like an end to the season. It feels like season 1 to season 2 vibes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed the clips as much as we enjoyed making it for you.
100%. Bye, team.
The next episode of the Rad Dad Redemption podcast is jam-packed with hilarity and hijinks as the guys sign up all their friends for mandatory military service in North Korea.